And I am ready and overjoyed to share with you that we are going to be live on Facebook as soon as it says we are official, and it says done. So I am so beyond thankful to have an amazing leader on our Freedom Friday today that I'm not even sure if he remembers the first time we met. Do you remember the first time we met, Kurt?
I'm pretty sure it was in a conference room in the entryway to Big Valley Mortgage.
You know, that may have been one of the first times, absolutely. And we actually got to spend some time communicating at a leadership conference at Bayside Church, if you remember that. I got to be a guest of one of your amazing leaders, and I was awestruck with how amazingly approachable you were, yet humble, confident, and also just a true commitment to be present and to be connected to each and every person you met. And so Mr. Kurt Reisig is our guest today on Freedom Friday, and I am catching him in the middle of a drive, and yet he is thankfully enjoying the sunshine in beautiful California and joining us to share his amazing wisdom. The first thing I asked Kurt is how we got connected in regards to what inspired you to join us today.
Primary reason is my commitment to you. You've been a great friend and say teacher, mentor, whatever we might call that to me. So when you asked me to do this, I thought, okay, if I can contribute something back to you and share some information with others in the process, then that's a good opportunity.
You are a powerful influencer, and you are going to contribute so much to so many people. And the word that you have chosen is to be a guide to the discovery of the greater potential within you, which is what you are always working to strive towards. And I love and empowering and inspiring that. And I also loved your recent LinkedIn video. That was excellent as well. Your celebration of your race, that was powerful.
Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, I had just finished that mountain bike race, and something struck me, so I recorded a video and sent it out to get posted on social media. It's funny, I think I got more views on that than some of my other more recent ones. So
it was perfect, and you were owning the celebration process. So I want to first question I want to ask you is in regards to your leadership journey, what do you think has been the biggest factor that you could inspire people with today that you get to share and empower with?
What is the biggest factor? I think I've shared with you this before, but I'm a perpetual student of my own weaknesses and trying to become self-aware of what my weaknesses are. Mostly what I've done is hired people who are better at lots of things than I am, which I think is why my company has grown, because the universe of my weaknesses is infinite. And so that's and being pragmatic about that has enabled me to hire just incredible people to do the things that I'm not good at, and that has created so many opportunities for me in my business that I learned early on that was just a good practice for me to continue. And then, when it comes to the personal side of things, where I could learn to be a better listener, a more patient partner, a more self-aware around the things that I can do and control for myself personally, that I could subscribe to, studying, reading, coaching, other things that would enable me to be on a path of improvement. So.
And I love so many things you just shared there, and I want to compliment so many things. And as you know, I love to say it's growth opportunities, right? And when we spent a journey learning about the habit finder, and one of the things you were so curious about is that pragmatic conversation and measurement, right? And you are purposeful daily about surrounding yourself, and Napoleon Hill wrote about that, and Henry Ford, and how the most important thing he ever did was surround himself with people that were smarter than himself, in the room to set himself up for success, to find the strengths and to complement and to delegate. And you've done an amazing job of that, and even increased your team over, even in the midst of the pandemic.
Yeah. I've been very fortunate.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
It's very powerful. And so it leads me to the second question, and I attempt to make these very concise, but also power-packed, full of information. And I've gotten a pleasure to work with many people in your team and watch them just blossom through your connection and your investment in them. And one of the things that I'm sure they may be surprised is one of the things that you've had to overcome. What would you be comfortable sharing in the journey of perceptions you got to overcome in the journey of your success?
Yeah. So just say that. And then,
Perceptions I've had to overcome in my journey to success.
yes. Until further notice.
I would mainly say that my own perceptions is that when I get to some certain level that I'm going to be happy, and when I get there, I'm going to be satisfied, and everything's going to be good, and everything's going to be secure, and I will have arrived. And what I've learned about myself over the years is there's no arriving. There's no point where you wake up and you feel secure. Security is an illusion. The uncertainty is actually what fuels me on a day-to-day basis. And rather than trying to eliminate uncertainty, embrace uncertainty as a natural and healthy part of my life, because it inspires me to get up every day and go out and see what else I can accomplish and see what else I can do. And so while my natural my instincts are to try to eliminate all insecurity or uncertainty, I've come to realize and recognize that it's ultimately my friend, because it drives me to aspire, to achieve, to set new goals, to keep moving the goalposts, for out in front of me, and by doing that, I've been able to achieve things that I never would have dreamed possible.
And you daily just keep climbing, and that's just part of who you are and what you do. And yet you are also one of the things that I'd love to end on and wrap up with, and I've been working with you quite a while, to watch that you can have a conversation on a mountain bike, you can have a conversation pretty much anywhere, and with whatever's happening around you, still manage to keep on trucking forward, right?
Yep, I remember that first time that you and I had a conversation on my mountain bike, and I was actually quite a ways up in the mountains at that time, and you were somewhat struck by the fact that I could be pedaling my way up the side of a mountain and having a conversation with you. So,
and be completely present. You have this power, and this is what allows you to be able to narrow in so much detail and yet so much broadness. It's just amazing to watch what you can accomplish. And
yeah, I don't know if it's multitasking, because I've also come to realize I'm not as good at multitasking as I used to think I was. But I think I'm able to compartmentalize my thinking fairly quickly. I can shift from one topic to another without getting too hung up on things. I can be in the weeds in one moment, and I could be really strategic the next moment. So rather than thinking of myself as somebody who's really good at multitasking, I'm just really good at shifting my attention and focusing really intently, even if it's for short periods of time, and then I could shift to something else really quickly, as opposed to doing many things at once, which there are times for all of us when doing many things at once is what's necessary, and to get a task done get a checklist of things we got to get done. But generally, the quality of the work we do when we're doing many things at the same time is inferior to, I think, what I kind of have an innate, I guess I'd say, ability to do, which is just shift my focus quickly and pretty deeply from topic to topic. And I don't know if that's a learned skill or a handicap or what that might be, but it's what I'm able to do. I also I could be accused of having ADD as well, which is maybe what that is a way that I've learned to cope, over my life with having a pretty bad case of ADD.
It's so interesting you say that. And what I was thinking as you were sharing that is what I heard is it almost gives you more focus in some ways to have something else you're doing that requires muscle memory, but not brain power. So where on your bike, that's a lot of muscle memory for you. And your brain is, when you're processing and communicating, which is what you love to do, as you said, I mean, there's not much time that you're not communicating. And you've got, I think we're up to 2,800 people that you're invested in on a regular basis. That requires you to have a huge amount of bandwidth, right? To be able to put yourself in that most efficient place, I think a lot of people use the word in the zone. And for you, in the zone is really operating, like you said, at a race and making sure you keep that balance where your muscles stay in movement as much as your brain stays in movement. And I just want to compliment that.
Well, I'll add, one of the reasons I like to have conversations when I'm on bike, because I'm exerting myself physically. So all the other aspects of being fidgety and jittery are calm, because my body is in motion. My body is working while my brain can be focused on, something else. And sometimes I do some of my best thinking when I'm riding my bike.
I so respect it. I have got to experience many conversations with you in all different formats, and we continue to always grow in the journey and discovery. And the final question, I think you caused me one more question, and just because you're such a powerful influencer and we're in such a unique season, and I'm curious, what do you share with others in this high volatile season to help keep unity and respect and honor to each other and in the relationship, so that we stay focused on being part of a community and reducing division? No pressure.
Boy, can you say that another way?
I sure can. That was a pretty intense conversation.
Yeah.
And yet, one of the we're doing a couple different things. We're in a season where there's a lot of conversations and concerns and division and all kinds of different things, never mind fear and crisis and all the things that we're all up against. And having overcome and beginning on the other side, or preparing to continue that journey of celebrating success, no matter the circumstances, how do you keep that peace and that conversation of connection in your community?
Well, first of all, I think any individual's ability to do that is largely dependent upon their circumstances. And I've certainly had some circumstances during the last 6 months that have caused me to be under extreme duress. And while at the same time, having to remain, calm and measured about, how I responded and what I did. And at the core of all that is a core basis of optimism. And I think that's, I think something that, particularly in today's environment, is lacking with a lot of people. Optimism is not in vogue. People thrive on salacious news. They thrive on hearing all the dirty details and the gory details of things, and it robs them of their ability to have optimism. And so, I think when one can show up with optimism and a positive outlook on the opportunities in the future, then that creates a connection with people that is meaningful to them, and people want to be around people who are optimists. I read a great book a number of years ago called The Rational Optimist. And it's not a touchy-feely book. It's actually a very scientific study of the history of humanity, and ultimately making the case for optimism, because humanity has overcome so many things over the millennia, and humanity has prevailed consistently in coming through times, despite the dire predictions of Nostradamus and other works of literature or religious prophecy and all these things about the end of the world. I don't subscribe to doomsday type theories, whether it's in my business or my personal life, and so I'm perpetually looking for ways to turn lemons into lemonade, and that's, even though people would love sitting around and talking about all the negative things going on in the world, they'd rather be sitting around talking about all the good in the world. And so that's the perspective I prefer to come from.
And you infuse and you set a level of expectation, and you lead by example. And so I love how you said, I'm perpetually taking lemons to lemonade, and you are a living example of that at a very high level, to say, and you've inspired many to do the same. So thank you for taking the time. Is there anything that I forgot to ask you?
Oh, probably not. Those are some pretty good questions. So what do I follow that up with? Thanks for the opportunity to share some thoughts with you. Thanks to your listeners for putting up with the glare in my car window and me looking down the road as opposed to looking at the camera. And sorry I couldn't be more stationary at this moment, but I seem to have survived driving 30 miles while I've been talking to you, so it all worked out.
You had that muscle memory going, right?
There you go. It's that multitasking. So
we accomplished a whole bunch. You'll get to see in some of the videos. I'll share the link with you afterwards. Have an amazing trip. Say hello to all, and thank you again for your time and your wisdom. It is always a gift to spend time with you.
Appreciate your patience, April. Thanks.
Absolutely. Have a great day,
Bye-bye.
Kurt. Bye, everyone.